Well, that was I don't know what to say. It's been a long time since I coached a game where we lost by 4 runs, but it didn't feel like you lost by 4 runs. I thought we played our hearts out tonight and made a couple mistakes. I thought that Jake McCoy was really letting it rip tonight, and he was throwing the ball good, and the kid ambushed a fastball and hit the home run in the first inning. And then in the second inning, we got a guy on base, but he gets a double play ball, and we turn that double play. You don't know if they're going to score, and not only do they score 5 runs, Jake ends up having to throw probably 30 more pitches, which had its effect on him then in the 5th inning when he walked 2 guys and then fell behind 2-0. We had to take him out. Nobody feels worse than Jordan Carrion, but that was a tailor-made double play, and it's hard to make mistakes like that against a team of this caliber, because when you make those mistakes, good teams will pounce on that, and and to their credit they did, and they ended up making it tough on Jake that inning, and it was hard for him to get us off the field. And and then he started to get a little bit tired there. I think he didn't admit that he was getting tired, but he was, it had to have taken its toll on him. And then Tyler comes in, and we're 1 strike away from getting out of the inning. He's doing a great job. And then with 2 strikes, the kid slaps the ball down the left field line, opposite field, and then we couldn't get off the field again. And dug ourselves a big hole there. But Caleb came in and really gave us a real boost. I'm so proud of Caleb. He hadn't been getting a lot of opportunities, and now 2 times in a row he's pitched great and gave us a chance. And then, man, we kept fighting back. Stone hit that ball. I thought it was gone. It was going to be a 2-run game, and still had a chance. And then Scobie hit like 3 balls tonight right on the screws and had nothing to show for it, including the last out of the game. So, we out-hit them. We didn't pitch that badly, really. We made 1 bad defensive play. But I think the guys played pretty well, and, the number 1 team in the country just took advantage of the few mistakes that we made.
Caleb hadn't pitched much before this week, but you got the opportunity to pitch that 1 inning on Tuesday and then more tonight. How comfortable are you feeling out there on the mound, and how good is it to feel that you're taking advantage of your opportunity?
Well, I'm an older guy. I've been doing it for a while. I feel great. I'm feeling the best I've ever felt in my 4 years. And I'm just going to keep going out there and try to give us a chance to win.
Yeah, what was tonight like for you, getting an opportunity against a team that's been hitting the ball really well all year? What was the mindset going in there for you?
Right when I got on the mound, it was like a breath of fresh air. I knew I could do it. I just got to show the coaches, and then more opportunities will come. And I knew it was going to be all right against this team. Just pound the strike zone, and that's what I did.
Caleb, Coach Rooney kept you guys out there a long time in the outfield tonight. What was his message to the group?
I hate to do this to you, but I think that should probably stay within the pitching circle. But I'll tell you this: you got to get ahead, you got to stay ahead.
Good job, Caleb.
Coach, you mentioned, out hitting Tennessee, 13 hits. How do you feel about the approach overall to the way the guys are going up to the plate? I think you had 5 leadoff hitters reach as well.
I think the approach has been good. That kid was throwing the ball really hard, that left-hander, and we had a lot of first pitch hits against him, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Several guys swung at the first pitch and got base hits. When they don't get base hits, everybody second guesses you'll make the pitcher work enough. So it works both ways, probably the difference in the game is they hit 2 balls out of the park and we only hit 1. You can't hit them out of the park if you don't swing. And when in this league, when you're facing these guys that throw so hard, you just hate to give take signs to kids and put them in a hole and then tell them that they got to try to hit a ball out of the ballpark when you're taking the bat out of their hands. So, it's easy to second guess and say, well, we should have made the kid throw more pitches. Well, there's no for sure that he was going to walk batters. And even if he walked batters, who was going to drive him in? It's a mindset that you got to be aggressive up there at the plate to be able to drive in the runs. And we had some clutch hits tonight. We obviously Nate got us a good start, and then Ethan hit that ball out. But then later on, that one inning we had 2 or 3 hits with runners in scoring position, I think. Kazmar had one, Carrion had one, somebody else had one, I don't remember. But and then Kazmar hit the home run. I thought Kaz played a great game tonight. He's been struggling a little bit both at the plate early in the year and then lately defensively, but today he was very aggressive coming to get the ball and played shortstop the way I want him to play shortstop, really. He was making good hops for himself and turning what could be difficult plays into routine looking plays. Now I got to get Jordan to charge the ball. If he charges that ball, I think that turns into an easy double play, but he hung back on it and let the ball play him. And, outside of that, Jordan played great. He had 4 hits. But I think if he was sitting up here right now, he'd tell you how badly he feels about not making that play. But he's been playing great baseball, and, he just got to learn from that mistake. And next time he gets that ball, be more aggressive to come and get it. But in answer to your question, I mean, I think we competed hard at the plate tonight. We had quite a few strikeouts, but this kid averages like 2 strikeouts an inning or more, so we're not the only team that has struck out against him. We hit a lot of balls hard, I thought, and unfortunately, they made some good plays, and we probably could have had a few more hits, and maybe it would have been different.
After the error there in the second, Tennessee got a few big hits off of Jake there, then the home run. What did you kind of see in his stuff there in that second inning that kind of allowed Tennessee to, hit a few balls hard off him?
I really, Jack, didn't see his stuff any different. I thought he was competing hard out there. And sometimes you got to tip your hat to the other team. I mean, you look at their hitting numbers. I mean, they do that to a lot of teams, And Jake was competing hard out there. I really felt like he was giving it his all and wasn't backing down. And, they got good hitters. And, a couple of the hits they got, weren't scorched. They just found holes, And, the home run ball hurt us. I think it was a 3-run homer, wasn't it, if I'm not mistaken? 2-run homer. But, you're going to get these guys they lead in the country in home runs, I think, aren't they? Yeah. I think they get over 70 home runs. So, we held them to 2 home runs tonight. One was a solo and one was a 2-run homer. But they got a few clutch hits. And, sometimes you give credit to the other team. They, like I said earlier, we made a mistake and they pounced on it, and took advantage of it. And that's what good teams do.
Not to keep harping on that error in the second, but does that show in this league how small the margin of error is for you guys?
Well, there's no question about it, that, when you play a team of this caliber and, we're in a transition of in the program, and, we have some really good players, and we have some areas that, that we could, improve in. There's no question. But when the other team is so talented, and you make a mistake, it gets blown up. They just take advantage of it, and that's what top teams in the country do. And you got to give them credit. They took advantage of that mistake, and it wasn't that Jake wasn't competing hard. He was. They had some good at bats against him, and I think if Jordan had another chance to make that play, he'd be more aggressive, come in, make his own hop, flip it to Kaz, and we'd have a nice double play, nobody on base, 2 outs. And I mean, we'll never know what would have happened, but now it's first and second, nobody out, and a lot of pressure on Jake, and their hitters came through against him.
I've got a couple for you, so I don't make Kent run back and forth. Caleb Jones, what have you found in him? Is there been something that's different about him, or was it just a matter of getting an opportunity to go out there and show what he had?
John, I think it's just he's taking advantage of his opportunity. We when you have, X amount of pitchers on the team, you can't pitch everybody all the time. And, this past week, because of the injury to Dylan Eskew, we had to bump Jarvis to Sunday, which meant Tuesday we didn't have a typical starting pitcher against North Carolina. So we tried to match it all together. And at one point, I knew Caleb Jones was going to get in the game. And he was one of the few guys that really rose up earlier in this week against North Carolina and pitched great. So today, we brought him in, and he just was awesome. I mean, he was mixing his pitches. He was throwing both his slider and his fastball for strikes. He was throwing some changeups, and we played good defense behind him. Bo Hollins made a really nice play on a smash, and when they hit it hard, so a couple times they hit it at our guys, which was good. And there's no defense against the base on balls. If you throw strikes once in a while, they're going to hit one hard, and hopefully it's right at somebody. Their pitchers threw strikes, and we hit a lot of balls that seemed hard that they caught. The kid made a diving catch in right field. The game ended. Scobie hit that ball to left center. I thought was gone. So it was just sometimes you get the breaks and sometimes you don't. It's just the way it works.
Speaking of, I think it was Hollins was at the plate where there was a fair foul.
No, it was Nate Hall.
Hall.
The ball down the first base line.
Yeah, and that was fielded in front of the bag. It looked like the first base umpire called it foul. I was wondering if you talked to the home plate umpire at all. And
I did not, but I've been doing this for 40 years. I'm still confused on whose call that is. They say before the base it's a home plate umpire, after the base it's the base line, but I just feel like the base umpire was blocked off by the body of the first baseman. I obviously didn't have an angle, but I thought the ball was foul. Nate Hall told me he clearly thought the ball was foul. I don't know if you guys could tell from the press box, but that was a pretty big out. You got your best hitter up at the plate with a couple of guys on base, and if he gets into one, maybe we got a different ball game. So, it's not a play you can challenge. You can only challenge a fair or foul ball if the first bounce is after the base. And that one obviously was not the case. So I really, I could go on out and argue like crazy, but they would have never overturned the call. It wasn't a reviewable type of play.
It wasn't reviewable, but did you ask the home plate umpire if he could talk to the first base umpire?
They don't do that in the SEC. That's something you do in Little League, but not in the SEC. The umpire makes the call, and that's it. You're not going to ever get somebody to change the other guy's call. Never happens. Okay.
And Talmadge, you mentioned something to us yesterday about him having a little hip problem. Do you think he's out for the weekend, or might he? It's
definitely more serious than a little hip ache. So. It's something that Talmadge is going to try to rehab through therapy, and if it doesn't work, then he's going to have a procedure done and probably knock him out for the rest of the year. So there's no use having the procedure done right now because he'd be out for the year. So he's going to try to rehab it and see if he can feel better. But I don't know if Talmadge being in there would have made a difference tonight. Obviously, Max had a tough day at the plate, but and then Brian Bakes when I put him in to hit too. So that position struck out 4 times tonight. And maybe Talmadge would have struck out 4 times. Who knows? But you play with the guys that are healthy enough to play, and you do the best you can. And I'm more concerned about Talmadge's health than I am us not having him. So, if he has the procedure, it's going to try probably a week or 10 days and then reevaluate it and see how he's feeling.
2 quick ones for you. Henry Kazmar looking a lot more comfortable at the plate in the field. Do you kind of agree on that?
Yeah, I thought Henry played a great game tonight, and I told him that. He played short. I've been trying to get him to play more in an aggressive way at shortstop where he comes and charges the ball and makes good hops for himself. See, he's played up in the Big Ten, and all those fields are artificial turf. And so you have a tendency to hang back on the ball because you're not going to get a bad hop. And the transition has been a little bit more difficult than I thought it would be for him. The other day against North Carolina, he hung back on a ball I thought was a double play ball. Against Arkansas, he had 2 plays in that first inning when Jake McCoy couldn't get out of the inning. And I just had to become more stern with him about trying to get him to play attacking the ball. And tonight he did. I thought he played great, even catching that little soft line drive. Because he had the mindset of playing aggressively, he was able to catch that ball, but he made other plays. And he struck out a couple times tonight, but that's a tough pitcher for a left-handed hitter, and he got the base hit against him with 2 strikes that knocked in a run, and then he hit the home run. I thought he played a great game, Henry, even though he had a couple strikeouts. I take that from him every day.
And I know obviously this has been a tough stretch for you guys in these last 5 games or so with the losing streak here, but obviously you guys have fought back in a lot of these games offensively recently. How much closer do you feel like you guys are to finally getting over that hump and maybe knocking the wall down a little bit?
Well, we got to stop the other team, Jack. Pitching is so important. And we just haven't pitched great, good enough to win. I mean, we scored how many runs tonight? With 7? No, the other day we scored 8, and we're just not, doing quite I thought Jake McCoy pitched well tonight. Like, his numbers are not indicative of the way he pitched, and that's been the case with a couple of his outings, really. And our bullpen has been up and down, and mostly down during this streak, quite frankly. And part of that is because the quality of the opposition is really good. We've played in some small ballparks. We've played with wind blowing out. I can make a lot of excuses for him, but at the same time, early in the year, our pitching staff was carrying our team. And I told them that yesterday at practice. I said, you guys have been carrying the team. You carried the team early in the year, and now it feels like you're a little bit shell-shocked. But honestly, even tonight, I thought Jake McCoy's stat line was very misleading. I thought he threw the ball really well. Pitcher came in and threw the ball really well. Got a couple of outs, was 1 pitch away from getting us out of the jam. Look what I put him in, first and second. Nobody out, and a 2-0 count on the hitter. He got the hitter, then he got another out, and he gets 2 strikes on the next guy, and he makes a pretty good pitch, a breaking ball in the outside corner, and you got to tip your hat to the kid. He went with the pitch. I thought Scobie had caught it at first. He came close to catching the line drive and getting us out of the inning, but the ball ends up in the left field corner, and then they get another hit or 2, and next thing you know, it's a big crooked number up there on the board, and it was too much to overcome. So, and then Caleb Jones came in and pitched great. So it's close, you know what I mean? The kids are doing the best that they can. We don't have a lot of overpowering arms coming out of the bullpen, and these are things we have to address in recruiting going forward. But right now, I can't make trades in the middle of the year. You do the best with the guys that you have, and the kids are trying really hard. I got no problem with what these kids' effort has been. Just that sometimes it hasn't worked out quite the way we've wanted it to, and arguably, who's had a tougher stretch of games in the country than what we've had the last weekend, midweek game, and then this weekend. You're playing the number 1 and 2 teams in the country, and the team we played on Tuesday was no Humpty Dump either. So it's a tough stretch, and unfortunately, the teams have played a little bit better than us each day.
Is there anything you can share with us about what Terry's message was to the pitching staff, especially on a day when you said the pitching staff did pretty well?
Yeah, I wasn't out there, but I know what Terry's standard is, and I know what his philosophy is, and it coincides with mine. Caleb said a little bit about it, get ahead and then stay ahead. That's what Caleb Jones did. He got ahead of the hitters, and then he made pitchers pitches to get them out most of the time. When you fall behind in the count and then you're forced to, lay one in there, good hitters are going to take advantage of that. And Jake was letting it rip. But when he got in trouble, most of the time it was because he fell behind in the count and wasn't able to throw a pitcher's pitch because he didn't want to walk the guy. And I told the guys yesterday, look, I'd rather give up 10 home runs than have you walk a bunch of batters. How many batters did we walk tonight? I don't even know. You gave me a box. I don't know what I did with it. Yeah, four walk batters is an improvement from what we had on Tuesday when we walked 11 and hit 2. So, if you throw the ball over the plate, you're going to give up some hits. And 10 hits to Tennessee in 9 innings is not an embarrassing amount. And we out hit them, but they hit 2 out of the park, and they came through with some clutch hits. Okay.